Hello, and good evening, good morning, whatever, and welcome to me build. And I'm going to be doing a restoration and a CODE3 of the Matchbox Superfast number 13 Baja Buggy. And stick around, it's going to be a nice job. And if you will, could you please subscribe? Even better, press the bell icon for notifications. And greater still, give us a thumbs up. Anyway, here we go. Here's the starting point. They're both roughly the same. For both models I'm going to be building. I'm going to be doing an original restoration and a CODE3. So they are quite rough. This were a favourite model as a kid. I must have had about 4 or 5 of them over the years, because I used to break the rear suspension, you know. The rear suspension were fragile. And here I'm drilling out the mushroomed over post so I can get the base off. You just need to take the finest amount of material off, sew it up, pop. Like this here with Pringles, once you pop you can't stop. And here we go, just flicking the engine off. There's 2 types, there's like a riveted post type, and there's this one that clips in. And quite often on Matchbox, these engines, you get the exhausts missing, or the actual engine missing. And here I'm drilling with a 1.7mm drill bit, so I can use a 2mm tap to put a thread into it. Another way of doing it I'm discovering lately is if you use the screws without tapping and just securely ride them on instead of tapping, they will go in. If you've done the all large enough when you've drilled, they will go in, no issue. But it does help if you do first few threads with a tap to start them off. And here we are, the tap's going in here. It's a 2mm tap. You have to be careful of snapping it. Some taps seem to snap easier than others. It's probably depending on the type of steel they're made out of and how much they've been heat treated that makes them more brittle or not. And here's a quick photo that proves you don't have to be too careful for Matchbox paint matching. They could widely vary in colour, as is demonstrated here, as long as you're in the right ballpark with a lot of them. Nobody will notice, to be honest. I mean, they're quite different greens. But yeah, if you saw one away from the other, you'd probably argue they were exactly the same green. But there you can see one's more yellowy and one's more limey. Sorry, I'm having some celery. Just watch the paint crackle. You don't get sound effects like that anywhere else, do you? Chewing celery. Anyway, We're onto the wire brush to knock off the last bits of remaining paint. And here we're doing at front end. As you can see, I drilled the post too much again, and that has been filled. I don't show it getting filled on the video, but it is filled. And here I've painted those silver, ready for the colours. And here, the Rollermatics was the development from the Baja Buggy. You can see where they've used the casting to make the Rollermatics vehicle. Turn them round, it's definitely come off the same casting. There's been some alterations, but too same to not be the same casting. Anyway, there we go, and here we start on spraying paint. And this one, I'm doing the green. This one's going to be the restoration one. Overnight I sprayed it first with etching primer, second with silver undercoat. I could do with more sparkly undercoat if I'm honest, but this is CODE3 Pearl Green, which if you're doing the Matchbox Baja Buggy is pretty much the exact colour you want. It's very much within the colour range. And this one's going to be my CODE3. At the moment I'm doing it gold. So this one, it's had primer, silver, gold. The gold so it's a bit warmer underneath the colours I'm going to be spraying onto it next. Because first off, once the gold is on, I'm going to be spraying it yellow, which I think I've started here, to be honest. I think I've started laying the yellow on it, which for these I used Green Stuff World inks, because at the moment I haven't got a CODE3 candy, but I do intend getting them. They're quite expensive, CODE3 paints, but you get a decent amount of volume of them, and they're exceptionally good paints. And there, the yellow's on. Now I'm doing Green Stuff World Orange. They're out of the Green Stuff World inks. And there we are, doing the wings, etc. And at this point, I think I'm on a CODE3 Candy Blood Red. Unless I'm still on the orange, I may still be on the orange. Sack that, I think I'm still on the orange. And just going around all bits I need to cover in the orange. And it is starting to take the colours on now. I think I'm still doing the orange. Sorry about not having celery. It's a hot, balmy summer night, that's why I'm doing beach buggies. Doing beach buggies in summery colours for a summer feel. And here I'm putting on Createx 2.0 candy, and it's the blood red. Doing the undersides with it. And at this point, this is a decal I got from Black Square Decals. They've always been quality decals. Can't fold some. I've got to be careful how I cut them nowadays with my shakes. One shake and it could be she loves me. She loves me now. Bloody petal cut straight off. And anyway, nearly round. You don't have to be too perfect, it should be thin enough. And once the lacquer goes on, it's not that bad. They're very good quality decals, Black Square. I'd recommend them to anyone for restoring. And here we go. Just applying it. It's as easy as just dip it in water. Slip it off. And there we go. Wipe the excess out with cotton bud. Move it slightly if you need to. That'll do me. Looking good. And just wipe the last little bits of excess off. Anyway, here I'm putting the axles back in. I took them out, they were a little bit bent. And I had 3 bodies because I snapped a tap in one of them. So I actually used 3 cars, but one car were all the knackered bits from all 3 cars. And it had the normal snapped axle. So here I've put together the chassis for the restoration one. I've straightened the axles out and picked the best wheels for it out of the 3 vehicles, because this one that I'm doing isn't going to be getting its standard wheels back. It's going to be getting some green light wheels. And here we have, it's had a super glow. And bung the exhausts on. Then I did a tad more super glue and glued the engine back on. And here we are, gluing the engine and the exhaust on. I'll be putting the engine on in a sec and clicking it in. I'm using glue this time because they didn't use glue when they mounted them in Matchbox, but they lose the engines that often. We're taking it out and putting it back in again. I've probably made it loose, so I'm not risking losing it and gluing it. And there we are, she's in. Shazam. And here we go. when I get my big meat tuck out the way. Anyway, here's where we started off. A beat up and battered old Player 1. Example of the Baja bug. Times 2 because the other was in the same condition as they are. But the first one you'll see is the restoration, and it is quite a nice restoration if I say so myself. Look at that, looking great again, like you just took it out of the box, which ideally is the whole idea of why we do it. But as I say, I had fond memories of this as a kid. I must have had it 3 or 4 times. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the CODE3. And look at that for a beast. Really nice vehicle. It's got green light beastie wheels on it. And that's about it apart from the paint. All it's had is the paint and wheels. And quite happy with the results. Anyway, see you in my next build. And take care out there. Bye for now.